again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will immediately start with the second session of this morning, Destination Development through Mega Events, Curse or Blessing. There is a provocative title and so I guess we have a great panel and we can discuss it, the issue with real experts. First of all, I'd like to invite to come on the stage Holger Hübner. He is the founder of the Wacken Open Air. And as many of you know, this is a global phenomenon of a very specific community, yes. The metal community. Yeah, great. And I guess you brought a video.
Yeah, video.
So let's start with the video, and after that, Holger will introduce in the panel.
Nothing to fear, a final fight. We stand as one, prepared to die. Be cautious, fellows, the shadows are away. Sheet to sheet, united through the night. And if the world's on fire, together we will pass the flame until our ashes reunite.
So, Holger,
Thanks.
what about that? What have you done all these years?
Tourismus.
Huh?
Big tourismus.
Big tourism. Ah, that's interesting. Tell us
On the green field, or
about
on the mountain, on the cruises, or on the holiday in Mallorca, all tourism.
Great.
And Wacken, one of the biggest, with 100,000 people each day, 4 days. So very huge.
So say
Make
something, tell us a little bit about, in a very short way, about the history. In what way did this start? What later became a global phenomenon?
Yeah, this is
So I think
short story
it's not only about the event itself, it's about a community, I think.
Yes, we get a great community.
Short.
We have the best fans of the world. Heavy metal fans are the greatest one all over the world. Coming to Wacken, 90 nations coming to Wacken. We started in the 80s. We are the love and passion about the music, heavy metal, and was many fun. I'm the DJ. My partner Thomas was in the band, and we are looking in the 80s. You have no big heavy metal festivals. Give Roskilde. Let's give Glastonbury and so on, but not more. And we want to do a heavy metal festival, and we are in the Wacken in the pub. Good few drinks, and the idea was to make a heavy metal festival. 1990 started with 500 people. In 1990, problem was in the 90s is grunge is coming. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, I think you know it. At the beginning of the 90s, and the stadium rock. Guns N' Roses, Metallica was very huge, AC/DC and so on. And we started heavy metal. It was not good time for heavy metal in the 90s. And then we need 10 years ago, and the internet. And after 90s, the internet is coming, and then therefore we come many people from all age and bigger and bigger. Today we have 100,000 people each day, and Wacken is a small country, a small town. 2,000 people live in 1990. Today, 2,100 people live in Wacken.
Okay, super.
Small, very small.
In the meantime, thank you very much to Holger Hübner. Please sit down here. I'd like to invite to come on the stage Dario De Stefanis. He is the director of the Division of Big Events and Touristic Promotion of the city of Turin. I'd like to invite Tapio Kivisari. He told me I have to say JT. Head and CEO, President of Visit Oulu. And last but not least, Patricia Yates, CEO of Visit Britain. I guess we have a great panel here, yeah, you see. Just started not only with fun, yeah, but Wacken is a serious issue, yeah, I would say. This is about a community. Yeah? So it's much more than just organizing a big event. So that's what I learned in this couple of minutes. I don't know whether this is always about communities, but we will see. Yeah? Thank you very much. I'd like to start with Italy, the city of Turin. Daria, what was the most transformative mega event for Turin, and what lasting impact did it have?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Turin was well known. I mean, maybe it's too much known in the past, in the 80s, in the 90s, for two reasons. One was the Fiat, the automobiles group. Then now it is Stellantis. In the name of Fiat is Fabbrica Italiana Auto Torino. So the name of the city was in the logo, in the trademark. And the second reason was Juventus. Juventus is still Juventus. Fiat is no more Fiat, it's Stellantis. And when the automobile crisis began to be heavy, starts a transformation of the city, and the big events was the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games 2006. We are surrounded by mountains. In 1 hour you can go easily to ski. So this was the big events. These transform the mentality of the people, mentality of the municipality, the proudness of the people work in the city. And brick on the brick, year on the year, we transform the city. The legacy of Torino 2006 was a huge legacy. Now we have, since 2006, the biggest arena indoor in Italy. Mm-hmm. And a lot of arenas for doing winter sports, like short track, hockey, ice dancing, etc., managed by the city and managed by private. So we start to have new events for many years, and as I said before, a new mentality in the institution, in the private sector, and we start to attract federation, events big and not big, and talking about today, we have the ATP finals, maybe you know the tournament, the tennis tournament, and we are lucky because we have also the #1 in the world, that is Mr. Sinner. After London, they come to Italy. Why? They come to Torino, because we have the biggest arena indoor in Italy. Mm-hmm. That was a legacy from Torino 2006. So this was a big event, and we have a sort of storytelling, and we are on the map again with a new positioning and a new proudness. That's the story in a short term.
Yeah, thank you, Dario. So Olympic Games were, in a way, the starting point of the transformation, of the biggest transformation. Clear, there was an industrial transformation of the city from Fiat to Stellantis, but there was also, let me say, a kind of societal transformation, isn't it? And did big events help to transform the city?
Absolutely. Yeah. Big events help a lot for many reasons. I mean, one reason is the media exposure. When you organize a big events, I mean, ATP finals, for example, that is the biggest that we have in the year, you have a lot of TV, social talks about the city, stars that come to your city, influencers. So there is also a sense of proudness of the population, because Torino is not a big city. It's less than 1 million inhabitants. So all the city talk about tennis. Everything is tennis in these 2 weeks. The museum are open if you, for free if you have the tickets for tennis, for example. We as a municipality, we organize a lot of things in the city center for free for citizens and tourists. Taste of food, workshop on sports and tennis, books presentation, and many other things, parties, and so on. So this is the occasion when all the city is involved in these big events. It's a huge investment, but for 2 weeks, the city really changed aspect. And the positioning the worldwide media as a point of reference is crucial.
Let's move from one Olympic event to another one. 6 years later, we had the Olympic Games in London in 2012. Patricia, did the Olympic Games change not only London, but even UK?
Yes, and I think the opportunity of mega events is that moment on the world stage that you were just talking about, or those 2 weeks on the world stage when all eyes are on you. And even a mature destination like London, or indeed like Britain, it's an opportunity to tell a new story. And I think if you think we came after China, so a monumental Olympics, and the story we wanted to tell for London was that warmth and welcome and party city. The volunteers who worked on the Olympics were just amazing. London felt completely different. You got off the tube and there were people there to help you get to places. We had the images of beach volleyball on Horse Guards Parade, so our history and heritage, but also the rejuvenation of the East End of London and the legacy of that. If you come to the Visit Britain stand, we've got ABBA Voyage on the stand. That's in part of that rejuvenated part of London. So physical rejuvenation, but the chance to tell a new story. And I think for tourism to remember that you're not trying to do the same thing as the organisers in most cases. The organisers are putting on the event. You're taking that event and delivering the legacy. And Britain launched its great campaign. So Britain is a great place to work, to invest, to travel to study in. And that has been running ever since. That is still our great campaign. And I think we had the image up of Memories Are Great, that was our closing of the Olympics, picking that work up.
So there is a very important message. It's about messages. It's about narratives.
It's about the narrative. And the other big example I would use, a city telling a different story was Liverpool. And when you talk about the community, so Liverpool hosted Eurovision on behalf of Ukraine. So there was a real thought about the values Liverpool wanted to show, the welcome it wanted to show. And all these events cost a huge amount of money. So to think about the legacy and the metrics, and I would say, that what I saw in Liverpool was an amazing event, a generosity of values and welcome that the city showed. And remember, this is a city that has been quite deprived in the past. This has really lifted itself up. And a huge, it was it delivered a huge increase in spend in the city, but part of the program was an education program, and you'll see sort of 2 million people across the city were educated in that. They had amazing volunteers. They had a real sense of their city values, and it's a UNESCO city of music. We all know Liverpool as the home of the Beatles, but just a open-heartedness that I think the community really displayed, and that authenticity of events, it has to be something that comes from the heart and tells something about you as a destination.
Great. The second message, next to the one about narratives and the stories, is about the communities. Volunteering as an important aspect of spreading the idea of being a community. Let's come back to that issue later. YT, what about Oulu? I guess you have something in next year, which will be of a certain importance, isn't it?
Yes, we have something cooking. We're going to be the European Capital of Culture 2026. And this is the biggest endeavor that the country and Finland and Oulu have been taking for a couple of years. It's a big budget endeavor, 50 million euros altogether. And Oulu, I think that most of the people here, if I would say, show of hands who know where Oulu is. Not so many. Happy to see a couple of hands up there. Oh. But I would say that in Finland, you probably know the capital city of Helsinki and then Lapland. And the rest of the country is pretty much of a black hole. And so we are in the center of that black hole, so sort of to say. So this kind of a mega event for us is a very, very big thing for us to be able to start it. We call it a mega event. Of course, it's a year full of events in a city where the locals, when you would be asking them, why would tourists ever come here? They would say, there's nothing to see here. And a couple of years we did a little questionnaire about the identity of the tourism in the city and the identity of the events in the city. There are a couple of events that some of you might have heard of. My dear colleague here was showing you images of a metal concert, and Oulu is also a host of Tuska event, and also it's known for great music festivals as well from the past. But this place is not known for any other things, really, when you ask locals. So we actually addressed this before the 2026, and we decided our theme will be cultural climate change. So it's for the locals to actually get the value of themselves, of the identity of the city, because the city was the place where Nokia was developing the mobile phones. Maybe you still remember the tune, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And some might still even have this on your phones. But it's a technology city when you ask the locals. Now it's going to be an event platform. And when we are thinking about the future year, we've been actually working since 2021 diligently for this. And we have a huge team working on this. And we plan to have thousands of events during the year. And this has created some opportunities, as we never say word problems in Finland, right? So some of the opportunities in how to address this with the locals, how to find investments for the new accommodation, is going to be so big that the accommodation in the city will not be enough. We need more labor. In a small city by the sea, we need to address these issues, and we don't have very much time left.
You hosted large-scale events, also in the past. What was the biggest challenge in organizing them?
Well, I think it's that we are so far up north that we're basically an island. So if you want to catch an international audience, then you need to have good connectivity. And you need to have direct connections from Europe. It's not really easy for international visitors from Europe to hop on a train and arrive in Oulu. You need to fly. And we only have one airline flying to the airport. Generally now we have Lufthansa that started flying from Munich, but normally it's Finnair. You need to have a flight to Helsinki and then connect to Oulu. So people need to reach us. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, I think, is definitely that we are not used to having these kind of events, so we need to learn our way to collaborate. And in Oulu 26, we are, for example, having 40 municipalities and cities working together. And this has opened a great, I would say, blessing for us in a way that learning to work together and developing things together will carry us with the legacy for the coming years as well.
Yeah. Great. Going back to Holger. I remember Holger, also other artists, musicians, for example, bringing to their mostly small cities and places famous concerts. So over the years, the small towns became important and famous on a worldwide scale because one person brought in the whole network of the world. In a way, you did the same. You did not bring in the network, but you developed the network in Wacken. But what will be the future? So how will you, let me say, develop this event in a sustainable way?
Yeah, this is a thing for the future, to do more in the new energies, wind, solar, and so on. Good. The motto in Wacken was, what is good for the festival must be good for the community, for the village. The village must be the point for that. For example, we have an outdoor swimming pool. Nobody in Germany for 2,000 people living have a outdoor swimming pool. Or we have for all people in the village Wi-Fi. All the things bring we to the village over the last 35 years. We bring in many input for the community. They come from all over the world, and they make party in Wacken and make all things and so on. And the bands are the greatest, and the community must be party in front of the stage and on the camping fields and around the village. 1 week we have big party, loud party, and 360 days in the year we have it's a normal small village.
Can I come in a bit?
Yeah.
I was just going to mention, so in Britain, 20 years ago, a dairy farmer called Michael Eaves thought he would host a music festival on his farm.
Good example, yeah.
As Glastonbury. And if you speak to him, the amazing thing is he's just as proud of being a dairy farmer as he is of hosting Glastonbury. And you can see his daughter has now come into the business and she's still running that. But I would say that that sense of authenticity and the story, that he gives back to the community. He's very concerned about sustainability and how he delivers on that. But what he has shown is that model of music festivals. And right across the UK now, you'll see in the summer outdoor music festivals that have really learnt the lessons. And I would say, my experience is that events organisers are amazingly generous with their expertise, and certainly, there's a real tradition of Olympic hosts passing on knowledge. So if you're doing mega events, talk to people in the field because they will all help. And so that one event and one farmer doing something he loved has really spawned a whole summer festival of music festivals in Britain.
So is it also about hospitality at the end of the day? How create a network of hospitality, Dario?
Let me add something about the example, because it is interesting for us, for the audience, I think, to think about a big city, big events, or a small city, big events.
Yeah.
I want to tell some example. Who know Indian Welsh without tennis? In the world, probably no one. Wimbledon, the same. Wimbledon is a village. There's nothing apart tennis. Or Le Mans in France without racing. Again. I followed the MotoGP race for 5 years, and I discovered Motegi in Japan. Motegi is a land in a wood, is a place in a wood, because it was a track of Suzuki, a test track. But there's nothing in Motegi. Motegi doesn't exist. It's a track. But Motegi now is something in the world because there is a MotoGP race. Or what about the effort that Saudi Arabia does in these years with the ex-Parigi-Dakar, now just Dakar? You look at the amazing country, thanks to Dakar rally. Otherwise, it's impossible, no, to discover a country like that. So, big events became a big spot for a country, for a landscape, for something. Mm-hmm. So, it's not true that a big event is related only with a big city, because big cities are very complex for many, many reasons, no? So, could be a problem to organize a big events in a big city, sometimes. And London probably knows something about that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it can be a problem, but on the other hand, the city's got the infrastructure. If you're looking at big events in small cities or big events in a field, where are people going to stay? How are they going to get there? So the challenges are different.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Glastonbury is the same than in Wacken, but Glastonbury is 20 years older, like also a farmer. We are working Wacken also with farmers. That's the land that we have, 400 hectares, it's only from the farmers, and we have, when not the festival, the cows are on the green fields, we have green fields, and we have no racetrack or beton fields. Therefore, this is, when the festival is ready, is over, then becomes the farmer, makes the country, and all things fine then. And the same then in Glastonbury. And we must do for 100,000 people infrastructure, from solar to wind, aggregates and so on, for power, water. We have a beer pipeline in Wacken that we have for last 20 years. Had a good story in the New York Times. In the New York Times, 2 stories. One story is a good story, one is a bad story. The good story was Wacken has a beer pipeline, and the bad story was Trump has cancelled any things, and that was a bad story. It was 10 years ago.
Yeah. YT, around the idea of the events and big events in a particular way, we are always discussing about impacts these events can have. You organized many events, and obviously you do it also in a public function. Yeah? Can you plan in a detailed way the impacts, or are sometimes development and dynamics not under control of all those organizing these events? How matching this?
I would say that no event is completely in control of the organizer. There's always unforeseen things that happen. But in the world of social media, where things can be adapted and changed quickly, I think that one great example from Oulu is the World Guitar World Championship. I think we in Finland are very good in inventing things out of thin air, like the 5G, 6G mobile connections, but air guitar is a great sample of that. It has a message that when you're holding an air guitar, you cannot hold a gun. Mm-hmm. And in the world that we're living in today, I think that when we started the event in Oulu, nobody was expecting it to have an impact. And now competitors from all over the world actually come there and do their best in performing with their imaginary air guitar and create a great show. And if it comes to other things like organizing sports events and so forth, I think that the most important thing is that how they will carry on in the future in the community. Will it increase the number of beds? Will it create pride in the community? Will it create extra services for the locals? Will they be sustainable? For example, in Oulu, we already see that one of the things that we've done to prepare for the next year European Capital of Culture, in Finland, we have a certification, Sustainable Travel Finland certification, awarded by Visit Finland. And Oulu was one of the first big 6 cities of Finland to get the certification. So we've been working with the local companies, which are the core of our infrastructure, to make sure that we are a sustainable destination, as sustainable as we can be without greenwashing. So these kind of impacts, we did not maybe plan 21 when we started planning, for example, for next year, but these have been the steps that have been happening when people have gotten excited about the events to come.
just in a short way about this event of the next year, so the European Capital of Culture. You are not alone. I guess there are many cities, isn't it?
There are 2 cities every year, and we've been basically learning from the previous years. There are mistakes, and we are benchmarking to make sure that we are not making the same mistakes and learning from the successes of the others, of course. But I think we will make our own mistakes, and the next 2 countries and the cities coming after us will learn from us as well. So it's a learning curve. Every single event is a learning curve.
Patricia, when we talk about learning, competences, Visit Britain, in what way can you give an idea and a sense of organizing sustainable and responsible events for the whole country? So is there a message in how can you develop these competences also for the different places you have, great places? So you have events, but in the near future, other events should come up. So can you transform, or can you give these messages to others, and how do you do that?
I think, you know, we're just looking at our 5-year strategy and where do events fit in that, and what sort of scale events are we talking about? Are we talking about growing our own events, or are we talking about competing for global events? And certainly what we're seeing in the competing for global events is they're becoming more and more expensive to get. So I think you have to be absolutely clear that you've got the money and you know what you're doing. And you know, why I was showing those Liverpool metrics, that you are brutally hard with yourself on benchmarking at the beginning and getting a third party to evaluate at the end to see what you truly have delivered. And I think that is best done by, Liverpool got their university to do it, so somebody that actually runs the ruler over you, because these events are so expensive. But then how do you, you know, we're all looking to be sustainable and to grow regeneratively, so how do you use homegrown events or grow events that can help attract people during the winter months and during the shoulder months when business is quieter, and what's the role then of the tourist board in starting events rather than competing internationally? And I think that's probably where our discussion is on that at the moment. But in general, if you're doing an event, know what your ambition is and measure it would be my advice, because you will find that we're all human and we all want it to be a success. So it's very easy to change the metrics when you're halfway through and think, no, we're a real success because we did that, and forget that wasn't quite what you were aiming for.
Yeah. Dario, sometimes we hear about the so-called crowding out effects.
Sorry?
So crowding out effects, when regular guests do not come in a destination in the moment of the big event, because they try to avoid the big event and they probably come back later. Is this something which you experienced also in Turin? Or because with the ATP finals, you showed us that the community is part of the event. But sometimes it's the other way around. So guests try to avoid a city as long as the event is there.
We are lucky at the moment, because we are not a tourist destination, because if you are not Italian and you have to visit Italy for the first time, Torino is not the first choice. This is for sure. You have to go to Rome, to Capri, to Florence, to Venice, to Milan to do shopping, and then maybe to Turin. So we don't have this kind of problem. The problem that we can have organizing big events in a city like Torino are others, are daily problem with local people. Traffic jam, street closed, CO2 emission, garbage, no respect for areas, green areas, animals in the park, and so on and so on. So this is the issue now. This is the issue now. Also because, as mentioned the colleague, You can write easily in the social media, I saw this, look the picture, what a mess, there is a problem. No, so the citizens are very quickly to say something that is wrong. And this is for the municipalities a problem. So this from one side. The other side is to clear, understand, and say to the people how you use the money, the public money, to do what? To do what? Because these are public money. So this is very important. So what to do? I think that we have to talk in advance with people, with local interest group, politician, community, municipality representative. This is crucial. You have to start 1 year in advance, 6 months in advance to explain very well what will be also the positive impact. Work for many people's voluntary program, GDP increase, sense of proudness of the people. This is crucial. So you have to balance these two arguments. And finally, let me say something. When you work with a federation for a big events, as ATP, UEFA, FIFA, IOC, or something, we, as a city, we have to ask something to them, not just receive the bid, the contract, sign the contract, and give back. This was probably in the past like this. Now we have to ask something as a city. Means support the city as a tourist destination, TV and social tourist exposure, content production. So we have to involve the federation or the organization to do something, not just to live the events in the city, but to organize something in relation with the city. This is really important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Well, slowly. Yeah.
I'll just so
crowding out effects.
Summer Olympics, yes, absolutely, that happens. I have to say, we were very opportunistic last year and talked about how you could come to Britain and you can get the train over to see Paris Olympics, no need to stay in France. So absolutely, it's the case that tour operators, you know, as part of your winning bid, hotels have had to give fixed rates to the Olympics, but I mean other big events apply. So the rest of the hotel rates go up, so tour operators generally advise their clients not to come, you know, particularly the Olympics, which is in August, to avoid for the summer season. So as a tourist board, you have a lot of work to do to make sure that you hit the ground running and that you're getting clients back, you know, for the autumn period. We had a real issue on the London Olympics, actually, because we were so successful at telling British people not to come into London that all the Olympic visitors went off to the Olympic sites and everywhere else was empty. So all the shops were empty, the restaurants were empty, and we ended up having crisis meetings and having to do campaigns to get British people to go back into London to keep the normal economy going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah. This is about crowding up. Short.
Yes, and I think one of the key things is communications to all the stakeholders that are and the community. So you need to be diligent with your communications plan and make sure that you are all the time, as things tend to change while you're planning and getting closer to the event. You need to be able to change diligence quite agile, in an agile way, your communication strategies and plans in a way that you make sure that when things change, everybody knows what's going on. That helps a lot.
Yeah, it's about communication, just avoiding crowding out effects or similar effects in order to integrate the community as much as you can. Holger, coming back to you, one question. Your festival is a global festival. In what way are politicians involved, the political level? Do they finance this, or do they give you sponsorships? Probably you do not need that. So are you trying to avoid to integrate politicians?
They drink many beer.
Sorry?
They drink many beer.
Okay. Pipeline.
Yeah, sponsorship is very problem. We are all music festivals have big problems with sponsorship. The football is too much. No? Yeah. There's no chance against football. Lollapalooza is one of the festivals get very good sponsorships. Wacken is okay, and heavy metal, okay, we are the first, but sponsorship is very problem in the music scene to get that.
Is it private sponsorship or public sponsorship, or both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we are coming to an end. The last 5 minutes. Dario, something about that?
I know in Torino there is a Kappa Future Festival. It's quite famous. He knows, I think, quite well. The argument of sponsor is always difficult because as a municipality we can invest in a private event. That's the point. So we have to do effort to convince banks, local companies to do that. But the sponsor issue is always a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the high fee from the artists.
Mm-hmm. And in Oulu, are you working with public money? Yes, you are public authority, of course. But in what way are you integrating also private sponsors? Or can you do that? Is it allowed to do? In what way can you have financial support also by other organizations?
Well, first of all, our DMO, which is regional DMO of 11 different municipalities and cities, is actually private-public in this order. So
okay.
it is very important that we have the private money there. So that creates a unique way of collaboration. And when it comes to Oulu 26, we are having a huge impact at the moment, working with the local entrepreneurs and even big enterprises. We have a sponsorship program in place, and we're getting local banks and media involved, and that will have a great impact also for the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so coming back to the central question of this session, destination development through mega events, curse or blessing? Patricia.
I think it's, blessing I'm going to go for. Hard work, but such fun and such an opportunity to change your narrative.
Yeah. What will be the future of, let me say, the destination management when more and more the event management issues are coming in?
I mean, I think the big issues at the moment are public money. that you know, these mega events are bid for by governments, so that's naturally public money, and then the onus is on getting private sector to support that. But normally, the branding is very tightly controlled. You know, Eurovision's on the BBC, no branding. Olympics, the rights are sold by the Olympics, so no branding. So your opportunities are not necessarily unfettered, I would say. And then so the opportunity is probably in growing events like yours, aren't they, that you own and that you therefore know will come back to you year on year. Mm-hmm. So different sorts of problems in getting the money and the financing, and how do you do that? But it is your event.
Yeah. YT.
Ask again 2027. I would say definite blessing, because we've already seen that the increase of international tourism is 37% at the moment when we started selling for this area. And I believe that international markets will find Oulu because of next year and our unique events.
Mm-hmm. Short question. You were talking about, I guess, 11 municipalities. So this is a regional DMO.
It's a regional DMO, yeah. But the whole endeavor for 26 is 40 municipalities.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there, let me say, a kind of competition between the brand of an event and the brand Oulu?
This is what I'm happy about, no.
Okay. But it can happen.
It can happen, and that's one of the first things that you need to manage when you're working in a group like this.
Mm-hmm. Dario, curse or blessing?
Yeah, I wrote this sentence. If managed well, the economic, social, and infrastructural benefits can far exceed the initial cost, transforming the city into a pole of attraction for tourism, investments, innovation. So yes to big events, but we have to manage it very well.
Great. So we started with you, Holger, and we will end with you.
Yeah, when you
curse or blessing?
Yeah. Okay, but when you see the video, you see our things, we Full Metal Cruise, Full Metal Holiday, and Full Metal Mountain started in April. And these are all things created from our fans, from our community. The fans say to me, hey, Holger, I'm over 50. I have no fun at laying in the mud. Please make it for our community other things. But Wacken is not a hill, Wacken is not a boat, Wacken is not an island. Therefore, we do this Full Metal Holiday, Full Metal Mountain, and Full Metal Cruise. And this we do very successful with the community heavy metal, the same than in Wacken. Wacken is 15 years ago sold out. Also the things that we created with the fans. But the idea is coming from the fans, from the community. And therefore, Wacken is a festival from fans for fans, and the same as also the other things. Yeah. We must be creative and looking and good communication with the fans, with the communication, and therefore make them fun. Also, we have great destination touristic products, and therefore we hope that we find other things in this area.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big applause to this panel.